Internet, and welcome to the SwirlyCast, the only audio show that can be enjoyed by humans and yokai alike, and is the subject of being 3D! You don't need glasses to watch the show! I am your host, Koma, happy to spend a few minutes of your day to come hang out, and with formalities out of the way, what is on the mind today? We are following up on our Wii menu episode with the 3DS menu! I swear I'm not crazy. We are going to be speaking on the 3DS, much like how we did in the Wii menu episode, and talking about its pre-installed software and notable things that you could have downloaded but will soon not be able to because in 2022, credit card support is going to be removed from the 3DS eShop. I am super upset about that. But we are going to be talking about this, so let's get into it. So, starting off, we're going to be going over just what the 3DS is. It was one of the most recent Nintendo handhelds at the time, and had a lot of things going for it. There was a lot of cool features, like of course the glass-free 3D, the more clamshell design. It was one of the most advanced 3DS. It was one of the most advanced Nintendo handhelds at the time, and of course, bundling up, and of course, having games like Ocarina of Time 3D and Star Fox 64 3D are good examples of putting that hardware to good use. But we're not going to be talking about the 3DS games today. There's plenty of opportunities for that. We're talking about pre-installed software and other software, so let's go ahead and talk about one of the main features that have carried over from the Wii, and that is the Miis. Well, I hate to say it, but the Miis aren't really used as often as they are in Wii games, and so that kind of makes the purpose of the 3DS Mii Maker a little bit more pointless in overall. Granted, there are games that use them, like Pokemon Rumble Blast, Rumble World, Mario Kart 7, Smash Bros. For 3DS, and of course, the various 3DS applications like the Friend List and Streetpass meet Plaza, which we'll talk about a little later on. And the Mii Maker itself hasn't really changed all that much. There isn't really a lot to go over that. We already went over Mii's in the Wii Sports and the Wii menu episodes. You already know how those things are. They work and they do their thing, and they're on the 3DS, so cool. But one of the major games that used Mii's on the 3DS was Tomodachi Life and Miitopia, which eventually got a port to the Nintendo Switch, so there's that, if you're curious, of course. Bring Tomodachi Life to the Switch next, please. Along with it, stop pressing, but there's that. There is also the returning internet browser, which is super neat now. Of course, it was not only free this time, which I will not understand why you would want to pay for a web browser, but it also was bundled in with the system this time, so hey, it's technically pre-installed software now. And, there's that. There is also a version of the photo channel on 3DS called Nintendo 3DS Camera, and because the 3DS is a portable device, you can actually take pictures using the console itself, so, there's that. And of course, it also has some of the same features as the Wii photo channel, and you can put SD cards in, you can mess with your photos. Though I think the photo channel is a little bit more fun in that case, because you're not only beaming onto the big screen, but you also mess with them in real time, and include things like the puzzle mode, so there's that. But you can make your pictures turn out to be 3D. There's that, at least. Yeah, I didn't really care for 3DS camera, but moving on away from that, we pretty much covered everything that returned from Wii, so let's go ahead and cover some features from the DSi. Nintendo 3DS Sound is quite literally that. It was a portable MP3 player, and you can record small clips and edit them to your liking. And I used to record things like TV shows, and then just I don't really know. I was in a very weird age when I was using my 3DS, and that was kind of like my way to have miniature YouTube videos on the go. Foreshadowing. But there you go. That's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and speak on 3DS applications in particular and why they are so much better. Let's talk about one of the major new additions to the 3DS, Streetpass. Streetpass was the main selling point of the 3DS at launch, and with the 3DS you got two games at launch, Find Me and Puzzle Swap. Eventually that got added to have Find Me 2 and actually had full-on DLC that you can download, which had a lot more games. Streetpass in of itself, though, is a feature that allowed you to connect with other users if you have your 3DS on while walking around. The 3DS will flash green if you encounter somebody who also has their 3DS on, and you can actually interact with their Miis in the different 3DS games that use Streetpass. Stuff like Smash 4 and Kid Icarus Uprising, Mario Kart 7, stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of 3DS games use Streetpass, so It's kind of one of the most fundamental features of the console, and I'm very thankful for it because it was a very good time to be a 3DS owner when so many other people had their consoles as well, and I managed to beat games like Find Me and Find Me 2 thanks to this method when I otherwise wouldn't be able to, so fun. Another new addition is AR games. Remember those cards that came with the 3DS? Yeah, they actually had their own game. And you could scan the cards using the 3DS camera and you can actually play simple games with them. They're not anything too impressive, but hey, it was a cool thing at the time, and Nintendo always bundled the cards in with consoles, even though they didn't bundle the chargers. Never understood that philosophy, but hey, there's that. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. There is also, of course, the augmented reality first-person shooter, Face Raiders. You take a picture of a face, and you gotta go defeat a swarm of enemies like that. It feels like bullet hell a lot of the time, especially in the later stages. Well, not really bullet hell, because but you know, it's a thing, it's a shooter, so it kind of works. The comparison, there you go. And essentially, that's pretty much everything that you got at launch, but there are some other applications I do want to bring special attention to. Of course, there were things like Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, and Hulu Plus, so they all good there. It lets you watch videos, but the main thing that I want to go over is Nintendo Video. Essentially what that is a Nintendo app that allowed you to download 4 videos using the internet connection, and you can watch them at any time that you want, while out and about. Then it was the home of a very particular thing, the Kirby 3D anime special, and I know I brought this up when I talked about it in the 3DS Menu episode of the Saloon podcast, but I'm going to bring it up again here. It is so neat, because this was the only way that you could watch it at the time, and it had actually been recorded by those who had 3DS capture cards at the time, and you could watch the full episode on YouTube. It's split up into 2 parts, so it's not particularly great, but there's that. And there's also some college humor stuff in there. One of my favorite things to watch on that thing was Dinosaur Office. It was animated in stop motion, and I don't know why. Younger me actually kind of dug it, and it was pretty cool. It was actually, it had a lot of dry humor. It was funny. And I still look back at that show with fondness, even if it isn't great. But I think it still holds up in a cheesy, dry sort of way. It's an acquired taste, I'd say. And, there was also, so much other stuff. You could also download music videos and stuff like that. It's super neat. That's what Nintendo Video is, and it's why I have so many memories of that. But also, Swapnote and Swapdoodle. Swapnote and Swapdoodle were 2 different applications, and Note was the one that came out first, and the Doodle took over that. And essentially what Swapdoodle is a postal service. Originally, Swapnote was really through just for Streetpass, but now Swapdoodle had it through the internet connection, so it's so much better. And I actually remember, viewers way back in the day will remember that I used to watch a YouTuber called Chaotic Shadow 24, and I actually got to appear on that show by writing messages using Swapdoodle, and it was a cool memory that I have, and I still look back at that at fondness, and it's neat. I enjoy those memories. I need to watch that channel again. I need to start going through the backlog and, just watch more of it, and it's just fun memories I look back on. Of course, there were also some other things too, like the Nintendo Anime channel, which had a bunch of anime, like the Pokemon anime, Yokai Watch, and Azuma 11, so much other stuff, but unfortunately it was only exclusive to Europe and Australia, so, like the Kirby TV anime channel, it was kind of whatever. But there's a lot of things that you can download on the 3DS, and I'd recommend that you do that before things finally shut down, and I really just enjoy a lot of what the 3DS had to offer at the time, even if I'm not playing games. This is kind of like my version of the Wii, and it's so cool. And then I just look back at the console with so much fondness because it just gave me so much good memories. And it's pretty much why I say that it's my favorite game console of all time, and I stand by that. And there's just a lot that I could go over. But with that, I think that's all the time we have for now. So with that, this has been Koma, and my friends, fellow viewers, and camaraderies alike. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the SwirlyCast. Until next time, bye-bye! They really tried to sell that 3D gimmick, didn't they? No glasses.